Alright, let's lock this one in real quick. I'm gonna do this in two parts. Well, Cold Wars are bullshit. Using geopolitical superpowers as an excuse to pump and launder trillions of dollars via the military by waging wars on weak nations to assert white supremacy, satisfy corporate interests, steal resources, and maintain logistical advantages in certain regions. For example, we used Russian communism that we created via the Bolshevik Revolution to justify killing black leaders in America and post-colonial Africa all throughout the 70s, 80s, and mid-90s. But after that started to fizzle, around 89-ish, we started using Saddam, the guy that we installed in Iraq and gave chemical weapons to use on Iran, the same Iran we're currently using to stay in the Middle East to use weapons on while we arm more terrorists to attack nations outside of our sphere of influence, aka satellite states, as an excuse to blow up a bunch of innocent, unrelated people based on some crap about incubators. Then, after the self-inflicted wound called September 11th, an idea thought up by the MEI, by the way, we decided to use that same Iraq again after having starved them, which led to the deaths of millions. On top of that, we invaded Afghanistan on false pretenses. All of these things use up weapons, which is one of the big factors I will be going into. All to chase a boogeyman with a super high-tech bat cave. By the way, this boogeyman was a CIA asset for decades and died of kidney failure. He had a super high-tech bat cave based on cartoon pictures provided by an apartheid ethno-state founded by converts from Europe known for lying about literally everything, including the time that they shot up a U.S. naval boat to get us to try and nuke Egypt because reasons. They hated Abdel Nasser, but yeah, other fake reasons as well. Only to have that same fake reason asset fake die, because he was already dead, in Pakistan, to be given a fake burial at sea based on a fake Islamic law that doesn't exist, to avoid having a martyr site that would influence real non-US backed terrorists that the American government wouldn't be able to contain. Speaking of US backed terrorists, ISIS, who we fund, arm, and train, as well as provide medical support, provide medical support via our apartheid ethno-state. We use these guys as an excuse to steal Syrian oil that is largely sold to Turkey, as it has been since our proxy army ISIS controlled the area, thanks to our protection and airstrikes. Now we're using China. For example, in this new Cold War, because the war on terrorism is fizzling out. We use China as an excuse to stay in Latin America, though the purpose of dominating the region is to control its resources and keep all the nations financially and politically unstable to ensure no threats to our pillage of everything from lithium and oil to bauxite, and make sure that it's not challenged. Same goes for Africa. The reason for wars in 52 African nations I've been talking about for years is supposedly to be a fight against our proxy terrorist forces, when it's really to assert white dominance by the Anglo powers and leeches like France, who literally depend on Africa for its survival, all while placing the focus on China, who we've been working with since getting rid of the Qing dynasty, destroying the Republican movement, and propping up Mao Zedong via the OSS, aka the CIA, which is connected to the Yale Divinity School. Now, these things are propped up by these white supremacist think tanks. These white supremacist think tanks pump out this rhetoric about Uyghur Muslims while they massacre millions of Muslims in Africa and the Middle East. And they use their European puppets in their apartheid ethno-state to massacre Muslims in their own country, while at the same time dropping bombs and placing agents in other nations, including our own satellite states, aka Yemen, to carry out other nasty attacks, along with a totalitarian fundamentalist dictatorship that I'm not allowed to talk about anymore, guys. Now, all these white supremacist think tanks benefit heavily from this. One of the most recent is the Committee of Present Danger, China. The Committee of Present Danger in China by, I think, Frank Gaffney and Steve Bannon, both of which are hardline white supremacists. The other think tanks that benefit from this crap, this fake Cold War that they've been waging, are numerous. The MEI, the Middle Eastern Institute, the Action Institute for the Study of Religion and Liberty, the American Enterprise Institute, of course the Atlantic Council, Tavistock, the guys who put Donald Trump in power, the Brookings Institution, the Carnegie Council for Ethics and International Affairs, the Cato Institute, of course, the Center for a New American Security, the Center for American Progress, the Rand Corporation, the Stimson Center, the United States Institute of Peace, the World Resources Institute, Freedom House, the CFR, of course, the Council for National Interests, Inter-American Dialogue, and the Hoover Institution. I'm sure there are others, but these are the main players benefiting from this fake Cold War against China, which is, like I said, used to sell weapons and spread white supremacy. Now, I'm going to be going more into this because, like I said, they've been working with China for ages. But now, since China's getting the upper hand, the white supremacists feel a need to clap back against China now. They're not going to go all-out war with him, just like they're not going to go out in war against Russia, because they wouldn't win. They could barely beat fucking Iraq with sticks and rocks. Hell, if they could beat Russia and China, they would have, because what's it all about, Jack and Dandies? What is it all about? Whether you like it or not, I mean, that's why I had these new players on here. That's why all of a sudden I started getting mass deleted. The Heartland Theory. If they could take Russia, they would have took Russia ages ago, because the Heartland Theory. They would have been took it. But they can't. It's like they can't take China. Because once you get Russia, you got China. They can't get either one, and they never will. They can't. It's like if they could, they would wipe us all out. But they can't, which is why I'm always GTG. And which is why they've always used nukes to make any sort of headway against other black people. But we'll go into that video later, which is probably going to be never, but whatever. Part 2 is coming soon. One day, bitch.